Hey everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you are new. Today's video is controversial as typical for the whole channel, but that's alright. So we're going to be talking about treating today for varroa mites. I've talked about having VSH in our apiary, but that's something that's new to us, and not all of our hives are VSH, so we won't be just not treating them because of that. We're going to go ahead and treat because it's still an issue for us, and we treat every single year. Usually like springtime, before some of our nukes go out, we like to treat those with just an Apiguard strip just before they get sold, just so we know that they're good to go. They've got at least somewhat of a treatment. It's usually just one round. And then around this time is when we're going to do after the honey flow. So we've pulled all of our supers and added boxes to the singles. All of these were singles and now have doubles on them. So they might not all be in the top yet, but that's not something to worry about. They're still working on it and get into that, so we'll feed them here soon. But around this time is when we're going to start doing our other treatments like Apiguard. So that's what we're going to do today. And then later in November, or like early winter kind of, is when we'll do oxalic acid, which we'll do videos on that also. So I've done some videos on Apiguard before, but I'm going to do it again today. And I don't really know, I can't remember all the things. I don't know if you saw that, but they all just came running out of there. They're going to be happy today. It rained the last, I don't know how many nights, and then rained a little bit this morning, so they might not be too excited to see me, but it's not something you have to get into the hive for. You just lay it on top, so I'm not going to be opening them up too much, and it should be fine. Now, I'm going to put gloves on. I don't recommend usually black gloves because I don't usually like that and start to sting you, but it's all I got right now, so it's just what we're going to use. But I am going to wear gloves. I usually do anyways, but if you're gonna do this, I would recommend maybe some eyewear or something, but we don't do that around here. We just hope for the best. So I've never had an issue. As long as you don't rub your eyes or anything, then you should be fine. So Apiguard comes with, you can buy them off of so many different spots. I don't know, just go date it at Man Lake, Hillco, any of those places, and they've probably got it. It is expensive, but it's worth it. And so far for the last, I don't know how many years we've been using it, and it works. So I would say it works pretty well. Apiguard strips, we're getting back into those. We're going to do those on some of our nukes this year, but we're just going to stick with Apiguard for now. So it comes with these little cards right here that the Apiguard sits on, and then this is the actual Apiguard in this tub here. We didn't open this up before, which was not very smart, but see if it's on sale at Hillco. I think it is. I think somewhere it's on sale. It just was, and that's why we got some. So it might still be on sale at Hillco. I can put the link. Yeah, we'll put the link if you want to check that out to see if it is. You know what I totally forgot? A hive tool. Uh-oh. That was dumb. I don't know how I forgot that. Well, let's just hope these aren't crazy purple eyes, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm just going to see if I can get this seal off, and then there should be a little spot, a little tab right here that you can peel off. It might explode a little bit. It looks like it might have. We've had this sitting for, I don't know how long, how long you think, like a year?
Well, no, we just got that.
We just got this one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we did have some that sat for a while, and it was fine. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's like a gel consistency, and right when you open it up, you want to give it a mix. I didn't bring any kind of special tools, so we're just using a stick here. You just want to mix it really good. If it doesn't look like this consistency, if it's anything else than that, it's typically gone bad and you can't really use it anymore, especially if it's like, whoa, big crystals and they're just big chunks and it's hard. You have to break through the top part to get to this spot here. Usually you can't use it at that point. I actually filmed a video about a week ago or so, maybe a little bit longer, and I didn't open it up before like I just did, and basically once I opened it up it was just solid crystals. So that video never got posted if you haven't noticed. But it's not gonna harm anything, so we're just gonna do that for now. And then it'll come with a syringe. Depending on the time of the year, you'll have to kind of figure out what to give them. Now for doubles, there's more bees in there, so I'm going to do a bigger amount. I'm probably going to do about 33, and then we'll do 3 rounds of 33. a week apart. And then for singles, I'll do 24 and do 4 rounds of that because it's a smaller dose. I think that's right. So another thing I want to note is these have a cap on them. So you can't just stick it in there and pull it and expect it to come out. It's not going to. I think I've forgotten that so many times. But then with these cards, the Apiguard just sits on top of it. But what you're going to want to know is if you're going to do this on any of your hives, you have to have some type of feeder shim. If you have any old supers that maybe you don't want the size of them anymore, if it's like a medium or a shallow and you're done using those, or you just need feeder shims and don't want to buy them, you can cut. Well, that hurt.
Did you get you?
Yeah. So I'm gonna put my veil on. I'm just gonna take care of her. I'm just standing here. Okay, back to the feeder shim. No one got me. Moving on. So you can cut the supers like into little pieces and you can create like a feeder shim about this big, or it can be that big, however big. Or if you just don't want to cut them at all, you can go ahead and use just the super normally. It's just going to be a lot of extra space. Now, one of the things about ours here is these lids. Let's see how this is going to go without a hive tool. We might just be doing one if I can get the lid off. It's not because I'm weak. It's just really propolised. Propolised? I think that's the word. Hold on. I'm moving the whole box. So, another thing you want, so you can see the whole box is coming off. It's just not the, I should probably go grab a hive tool. I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay. So, I'm just going to open this up and see what they're looking like and show you this lid here. Okay, so they're not really up in this top box, but that's okay. We're still going to do it anyways because we're going to continue to feed and feed and feed until we can't feed anymore. Now, one of the things I am going to do is all this extra wax up here, I'm going to try to take off. And that way that the Apiguard isn't getting like smushed and messed with this extra wax. Because this lid here has, I like to just say it's like a built-in feeder shim right here. There's extra space there that I don't have to worry about adding a feeder shim. These are also what we call bucket lids, so we feed bucket on these lids. I really like these. They work really well, and they're easy to kind of move around because they don't have two pieces to them, like an inner cover, and then that, I think that's a telescoping lid, or I think it's telescoping. But what I'm going to do here is ignore the fact that we haven't weeded or mowed. We actually have in the last like week. So all the syringe has here, it goes all the way up to 60, but we're not doing that high of a dose right now just because it's really hot outside, and it's not, no, like we're at the point where we can do this now, but we've been waiting because it's been too hot. And unfortunately, I think we've kind of, that was our last like really hot week of the year, and we're pretty much going into winter now, which is just crazy to think about, but we're going to do it just a little bit lower just because it's really hot. But normally you would do up to like 45 to 50. We'll probably do that at some point, but so you can see how it just goes in smoothly, but if it's got any type of crystallization to it, crystallization this video is a mess. Then you won't be able to do that. So I'm just going to do about 33 here. And then you just take these cards. You can just do one whole, you can just do it all right there, but I'm just going to kind of spread it out a little bit like that. And then depending on how big your feeder shim is, you don't have to worry about it. But just because mine's not crazy big, I do spread it out just a little bit so it's not like really thick there. Then you just lay it on top and put your lid on. And then I'll show you, so the lid's on, and then here's the top of it. It's not on there at all, so it doesn't touch it. If you do happen to have one that you just don't have a feeder shim or whatever it is, I would really recommend trying to find one, because treating with this and not having a feeder shim is really difficult, and it usually doesn't work, because what ends up happening is it just smushes it and they can't even get to it. So it doesn't usually work very well. So I would recommend at least getting some type of feeder shim. I don't even think like an inner cover has enough space to it, but it might if you space it out enough. Now, I did bring the Apisalis today because I was feeling like I didn't really feel like starting to smoke her, and that's one of the things I like about these. So I'm just going to give them a little bit of smoke because I do. Oh, there they are. No wonder I couldn't get the lid off. Okay, this one looks a lot better than that last one. This year's just been so weird with the bees. Some of them are doing really well and some of them aren't. You just never know. But like I said, I'm going to do the same amount on all the doubles and singles. So the singles will just get 24. But these doubles are getting 33. This is also, I think it was Bob Benny had a video on this. Somebody did that. If you take like an inner cover, or I think it was a queen excluder, and you can kind of prepare ahead of time, like get all of your cards laid out, and then on that queen excluder, like put it all on there, and then you can just walk around with your queen excluder and you have all your cards here, and then all you have to do is just slide it on there. I'm gonna give this a little shake in front of their entrance because there are some bees on there, and then get this extra wax off. I don't think they made this. I think it's just been on the lids for a while. They're not really drawing out right now. We're in a pretty decent dearth. I mean, I got stung on the forehead just standing here, which means they're not happy, which means there's probably something going on. Usually they won't leave you alone too when you're in a dearth, and that seems to be happening. We've also been leaving out some honey from just extracting. We always have some random little pieces that have a little bit of honey on them, and we'll give it to the bees, and usually they'll be on it within a couple minutes. That's how you also know there's a dearth, though. I think that's also what's going on, but let's just do one more here. I'm just gonna do this one, and
this dosage is not off-label.
oh yeah, I was gonna say something about that, but I didn't know how to say it. This dosage or something is not off-label, I think.
Correct.
Basically just means don't come at me in the comments. I was going to say something else about that, but I'll keep my mouth shut. But I think it was about the eyewear. That's totally your preference. I think it says you can, but I don't worry about it. You don't want to really get this on your skin though, because it will, like if you get it under your fingernails and you can't get that out for like a couple hours, it'll start to burn and you'll know. But I've never had any like crazy chemical burns from it. But just read the label and everything. This is not off-label, whatever. It's just exactly how it says to do it. We're doing how we've always done it too, and like I had mentioned, it pretty much works. So we've never really done too many other things. We've done formic before, which is a really popular one, and my personal preference on that, it's not my favorite. It smells really bad too, and I think it's just a little too much, and it also, like, if you don't do it right, you basically just fry your hive, and I don't know I think that might have happened to one of them, but you just have to really watch it and be careful. I've never had any issues with frying the bees with these ones, with Apiguard and Apiguard strips. Never had an issue with that. But formic we did, and it also leaves a mess too. They'll actually clean up these cards, kind of like a pollen patty. So they'll basically tear up the whole thing and kick it out. Now, with like the formic, they don't do anything with it. They just leave it there. You also have to put that in between the boxes. Don't put this in between. Just put it right on top of the hives or the frames there. Not in between those two boxes if you're doing doubles, but the formic you have to put them in between. It's just a little bit more work, and I feel like it just you have to be more cautious with it, and there's some other stuff to it. So it's just not my favorite, but those are the ones that we've used so far. And my favorite is the Apiguard and Apiguard strips. Apiguard is just super easy because it's literally just a strip about like this big that you just slide in between the frames and it treats your hive. So it's really quick and easy. It takes like 20 minutes to do a whole yard. This one also, some people ask if they get stuck in it. There was one bee that just walked all the way across it and she's not there anymore. So they don't really get stuck in there and it just works well. So I'm going to continue to do that on the rest of the hives. We are going to go ahead and do Apiguard on our nukes just because it's a little bit easier, and we're not going to do Apiguard. It's a little bit difficult to do those on nukes also because we don't have feeder shims for those, but Apiguard, you don't have to worry about that. I think that's about it. So I'm going to continue to do that. This is just kind of showing you how we do treat our bees every year for mites. So we'll do this again for the next couple of weeks just to make sure that they're good to go. This is also the time of year you might want to do mite washes just to see where they're at, and then after your treatment get an idea of what they also look like after that just to see if it worked. I usually like to do it on the same hives or just in certain yards, see if your treatment's actually working, and then if it's not, maybe it's time to think about something different for the next year or whatever that might be. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and keep doing that. So thanks for watching today's video. Follow along for more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.